Hey you, welcome back. You know exactly why we're here. And if you don't know why we're here, then you must be new. So like and subscribe. But before that, I just want to explain, I dedicated myself to learning new languages this year and for the rest of my life. But for this year in particular, I wanted to focus on learning Japanese for the first 6 months of the year. And then for the last 6 months of the year, I wanted to learn Korean. Now, because I do have a little problem with consistency, I told myself that after every quarter of this year, I need to do an accountability video and let you guys know exactly how I'm doing at the end of each quarter. Now, we already did one this year. We did Q1, so that was between January all the way to the end of March. And now this is from April to the end of June. It is the end of June, so I just want to let you know how Japanese studying has been going and if I'm ready to start learning Korean. Buckle your seatbelts, kids. We've got a lot to cover today. Now, at the end of Q1, I just explained how life kind of got a little bumpy at the beginning of the year and I wasn't able to be as consistent as I wanted to, and so I didn't do too well towards the end of that quarter. However, this quarter I did much better. I think I gave myself a grade of a C for the first 3 months of the year, but for this one, I would give myself a solid B+. So for this quarter, between April and June, I've been able to learn pretty confidently. I feel like it's in my long-term memory. I've learned 300 kanji, and I've also learned and mastered about 800 words. Now, before I think I knew 600, but now I'm like confident in 800 words, which is a pretty decent vocabulary. I'm able to have pretty basic, although broken, conversations. I'm able to have conversations now. I'm understanding a little bit better, but I do believe that my listening skills, pretty rudimentary. They're not too good, but I have been trying to focus on that and just listening to entertainment and audio and, music all in Japanese so that I can better understand and just get used to hearing the language. I also mentioned in the first quarter that I wasn't able to see my tutor for most of those 3 months, but I can say now confidently I've been seeing my tutor once a week. There's only been a few times that I've had to reschedule because I had too much going on, but I've been seeing her once a week and she's helped me so much. She's really tough on me. She forces me to be uncomfortable and not being able to answer right away, and not being able to answer right away has allowed me to walk myself through the sentence and be able to make a sentence cohesively. And though it's really hard, it does get a little bit easier every single time. So I do believe that I'm learning and I do believe that I'm getting better. Now, I also mentioned in the end of the Q1 video that I should be writing every day. I have not been doing that. I've been writing roughly about once a week and the writing has helped so much, but the writing is so hard. It's so hard because I don't just write easy sentences. I try to write everything that I would regularly write in my diary as I'm speaking my native language, so English, and then I force myself to translate it in Japanese. And oh my gosh, it is so hard. It takes me about an hour to translate an entire diary entry from English to Japanese. But it's also really helpful. Whenever I do that once a week, I try to show my tutor and she walks me through each sentence. And then once I make a mistake, she tries to allow me to figure out what was the mistake. And then once we figure out the mistake, she makes me make a brand new example sentence with that mistake. So it's painful, but it is really helpful. So in all honesty, I really genuinely feel like I'm on the cusp of a breakthrough. I feel like I'm about to turn the corner of fluency, and not native fluency obviously, but basic conversation understanding. I feel like I'm right on the corner of that. So I really want to keep my foot on the gas with Japanese. So that brings me to the rest of the year. Am I going to start learning Korean? No. I feel like Korean is a very tough language, and though it's on my list, I really do want to get to it. I will probably get to it next year, and I just really want to focus on Japanese. But I also want to allow myself to try to make some progress with another language. So instead of Korean, I'm going to try to focus my energy on Spanish in my free time. If I'm going to study for 6 hours a day or 5 hours a day, I want to allocate at least 1 hour a day to Spanish, but the rest of the time really needs to be on Japanese because I just feel it. Guys, I'm right there. I feel like I'm about to turn the page and get into a new chapter of fluency, and I'm just so excited and desperate for that. I've never been so close with learning a language, and I know that if I continue to try my best and actually put in the effort and the time and the consistency, I know I can do it. So my plan is not turning out the way that we thought it would in the beginning of the year, but I am adjusting with how I'm doing, and I do feel like every quarter, every month, I get a little bit better. I get a little more consistent. I learn a little bit more. Things are starting to make a little bit more sense, you know? So I don't want to lose that momentum by focusing on another really difficult language. And because my native language is obviously English, I feel like the next easiest one to learn is Spanish. And I've always wanted to learn Spanish. It's been on my list for a while, so I think that I can easily try to add that to the list while still putting in a lot of time and care and attention into my Japanese studies. So, what are we gonna do in Q3 is the real question. Well, I'll give you an answer. So basically now I know about 800 to 850 words. I know 800 pretty well, and the other like 50 to I would say 150 I'm familiar with, but I don't always catch it when I hear it. So my goal for the next 3 months is to be pretty confident with 1,200 words. 1,200 words is my goal. And I also want to learn another 300 to 600 kanji. Now, I currently know 300. I think in the first Q1 video, I knew about 100. Now I know 300, but now I want to up that and like almost double it to like 600 or 700. And the only way I can do that is with today's sponsor, Mochi Mochi. Now, Mochi Mochi is a really wonderful app that helps you learn about 1,000 kanji in just a month. It's really effective, but they have over 6,000 words, vocabulary words, and kanji that you can use throughout the entire app, and it goes all the way from N5 to N2 in the JLPT writing system. So it allows you to use vocabulary that is actually going to be useful and that natives use on a daily basis. So it's really, really helpful. But I think the best part of the entire app is the golden time feature that they have. So every time you learn a new section of vocabulary words, they're all sectioned in just very small 10-word chunks, and they're all related words. So it's kind of easy to learn all of them at the same time. But once you're finished mastering a section, you go to the next section and you tend to forget about those things. But that's where golden time comes in, because golden time, it notifies you when you need to go back to your old vocabulary words at just the right time that you're supposed to forget those words, or you're just about to forget those words. So it helps you keep them and integrate them into your long-term memory. Now they have levels 1 to 5 with the vocabulary words. Level 1 is just all the new words that you haven't really gotten to yet, and level 5 is all the way into your long-term memory. So the golden time is used to get most of those new words from level 1 to level 2 all the way to level 5. So these are words that you can access at any time, and you'll be able to speak more fluently and eventually reach fluency with this method. So it's so helpful. But golden time isn't just about spaced repetition. It's also about learning your specific learning habits. So how quickly you memorize vocabulary, how quickly you master vocabulary, and then it sets the time for when you need to review those words accordingly. So it's so helpful. It's really helped me go from just learning about 10 to 15 kanji words a day to about like 20 to 30, all while spending only about 10 to 15 minutes a day on the app. So it's not that much of a time commitment, and it's extremely effective. The flashcards are also super helpful because not only do you learn a new word, but the words are always associated with a picture, and the picture is also associated with audio. So you don't only learn a new vocabulary word, but you also see a picture so that it can stay in your memory a little bit longer, and you can hear the exact pronunciation so that you can speak like a native when you eventually master these vocabulary words. So all of these tools come together to make a really, really cool, really fun app that's so easy to use. It's fun, it's inviting. I love the little music, and I love like the little mascot on the top too. It feels like someone's rooting me on while I'm learning vocabulary words, and it's really nice because language learning isn't always like sunshine and rainbows. Like at first, when you first start learning a language, it is like that. You're so excited, it's really cool, it's really fun, but as the honeymoon phase wears off, it's really hard to stay consistent unless you have like these motivators or you're internally motivated. So little things like this app has really helped me stay focused and consistent with my learning journey, and it's really paid off. So I'm hoping that in the next quarter, it really helps me continue to stay on track. So that is pretty much the gist of how my Q2 went. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly what I planned either. I do wish that I wrote more. I do wish that I learned a little bit more vocabulary, but I am pretty happy with how it went. It wasn't terrible, and I do feel like it has set me up to have a really good Q3. So for Q3, again, I want to learn about 600 kanji, and I want to master 1,200 vocabulary words. I feel like with that, I can just really focus on speaking and comprehension. So that will be my goal for Q3. I know that I was supposed to learn Korean, but I just feel like I'm so close. I'm so close to being able to speak, and that's the whole point of learning. So though it's not going as planned, I feel like I am still making really big strides, and I'm proud of myself. So I will focus on Japanese for the rest of the year. And again, I will study 1 hour a day for Spanish. I already made 1,000 vocabulary words. I think my goal for those flashcards is to learn 100 every other week. So maybe I learn 200 words a month, but I'm not really stressing that. I really, again, just want to hone all my focus on Japanese. But I am starting to learn Spanish, so I'm very excited. When I go to the gym, I only listen to Spanish music, and when I listen to media, it's either in Japanese or Spanish. So I feel like I'm doing as much as I can to absorb all this information and to be able to use it in my daily life. I am learning every step of the way. It is tough, but I am trying my best to be consistent. So not bad, but not great, and I hope Q3 is better. Now, I hope that your language learning journey is doing really well. I hope it's doing better than mine. Let me know in the comments down below how it's going. And I love you guys so much. I'll see you in 3 months, I guess. I also want to focus on doing a lot more like study vlogs, and I want to speak more in my study vlogs. So I can just show you the other side. I feel like I just tell you what I'm doing and you don't really have any evidence. But I do want to show a little bit more of how my studying is going in my productivity vlogs. So I do intend to do that for the next 3 months too, just so that you can see that I'm working. I also forgot to mention that I'm on the last chapter of the Genki 1 textbook. So I finished the entire textbook except for the last chapter. And for my last 3 months, or for my next 3 months, I really want to focus on mastering those skills, like mastering those grammar points, because with the vocabulary and the mastery of these grammar points, I feel like I can really make some big strides. So that will be my focus for the next 3 months. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next accountability video. Bye.